What is e-invoicing and how the e-invoicing process looks like? We can, and we think about not only invoice creation and invoice sending, but also invoice processing supplier invoices. But what needs to be understood in this respect, that the invoice creation and invoice delivery is a kind of a process itself, which can be broken down into elementary steps and options. And this is kind of a standard process. These are the elements that either are in the specific process of a company or in a local regulation or not. These are, that you actually do the data inputs, you do validations and checks. You must generate the invoice document itself and the invoice data, and then either a QR code is assigned or not to the invoice document, but each invoice document has a unique identifier, which will be also part of the data structure, and then the PDF can also be generated, which is optional, and then there can be security mechanisms using timestamps and e-signatures or hash codes regarding that document to ensure that this is a unique document and the content has not been corrupted. And then the data can send to various participants in the ecosystem. It can be sent to the buyer as a data and a PDF, or data or PDF, or both. It can be archived in the company system. Payment request can also be generated from the invoice data, and in some ways the tax authorities will need to be notified about the creation of the invoice. You will see later how there are some differences, but in the end, some data will reach the tax authority. For the incoming invoice processing and invoice receipt, you can see the same kind of a very similar process. It is also broken down into steps. The point is when you receive an invoice that you have the structured data, and you must have the ability to work with the structured data in a standardized way. You must be able to carry out the necessary validations and checks within the company. The approval process must be carried out, and also the payment will need to be approved by the customer in some ways, which is also part of the invoice processing process and is related to the banking as well.